Hey everyone, welcome back for a little TLC. So we're still in our series titled Breaking Up is Hard to Do. We spent the first 2 weeks talking about platonic relationships. So we talked about breaking off and healing from friendships that may have ended. And then last week we talked about leaving an organization or secret societies and how you can heal and recover from that. This week we're going to transition into talking about romantic relationships, and we're going to start off by talking about engagements. Yes, I do think that there's a lot of trauma that comes from ending regular boyfriend and girlfriend relationships, but I wanted to talk about healing from a broken engagement because I don't think that people talk about that quite as often. And I am a little over a year since my own engagement ended, and so I think that I'm well equipped to talk about that now. So, breaking up is hard to do, engagement edition. Let's get into it. All right, so how do you heal from a broken engagement? I really wanted to spend this video talking, first of all, about some great resources that I used when I was on my healing journey from my own broken engagement. So the first tip that I want to publicize is therapy. Okay, therapy, I think that amongst Christians and also amongst Black people in particular, and for good reason, sometimes therapy is frowned upon or isn't the go-to, but I really wanted to be intentional about my healing. I already deal with some anxious thoughts and then some unhelpful thoughts around like failure and what it means to be successful as a woman. And so I really wanted to make sure that I was healing appropriately from this relationship not working out. And so I think therapy was crucial and instrumental in that. I really love the shirts that say like Jesus plus therapy, because I think it was important for me to find a therapist to help me process some of the thoughts that I was having, process some of the emotions that I was having, and also to make sure I wasn't going to a jaded place when it came to my healing and my recovery. And so I definitely publicize therapy. You can be strategic when it comes to picking your therapist. So I had one who was Christian, one who had dealt with serious relationships ending themselves. And so while we weren't just like reading the Bible in every session, it was helpful to me to have a believer who could put some practical wisdom with my spiritual beliefs. And it was really great. Like, I think that I had a very quick recovery. And not only did we talk about that particular relationship, but we also delved into some other things that had gone on in my past and things like that that helped me really shape and better understand how I had gotten into this particular position, some of the decisions that I had made, and how I could make better decisions moving forward. So I'm definitely an advocate for therapy. If you sit down with a therapist and you don't necessarily vibe with them, shop around. You don't have to be stuck to one particular person just because you had a consultation with them. So I totally recommend therapy. The second thing that I recommend, they're doing all types of construction around here, so I don't know if y'all can hear that, but I actually forgot the book, so let me get it. Yeah, so I just apparently love books when it comes to healing and recovering. And so I did find a really great book that talked about healing from a broken engagement. And so the book is titled In Repair, A Guide to Healing from a Broken Engagement by Diana Elizabeth Steffen. And so this book was really helpful to me. It talks about her own journey of healing from a broken engagement, and then it just provides some really practical advice. And so if a broken engagement is something that you are dealing with, highly recommend this book because it was awesome. There were some things that were a little bit different for me because this book goes through really the life of someone who was broken up with, and I did call off my own engagement, and so I think there is some nuance there, but like breaking off an engagement hurts whether you're the person who was broken up with or if you're the person who called off the engagement. And so I do think there's still a lot of practical wisdom in this book. The third tip that I'll provide when it comes to healing is have yourself, surround yourself with family and friends and community who care about you, who are praying for you. When you thought you were going to be with someone for a lifetime and that doesn't end up working out, it can be very easy to feel lonely. But if you have community, if you have family, people who are pouring into you, then it doesn't hurt quite as bad, or they'll like pick you up when you're having some of your bad days. And so I definitely recommend having a good support system, folks who will pray for you, pray with you, folks who will just make you laugh, people who will listen to you, folks whose shoulder you can cry on and they won't judge you. And then again, folks who will tell you, okay, you've been crying long enough. It's time for you to get that thing together. So definitely get you a good friend group, a good family group, and just good community overall. Then the fourth tip that I will use, and I was strategic in using this one last because I think sometimes we can be so heavenly minded that we're no earthly good. So I do want to recommend prayer, spending time with God. I think that when you're ending a serious relationship, again, it can feel lonely. It can feel like maybe you've lost out on love. And so it was very helpful for me to spend time with the lover of my soul as I was in my healing process, and to, not only pray, but, continue to go to church and serve, continue to be poured into through the word that I was hearing at church service, and just to, just get back to spending time with God. I think that when we're in a relationship, and the Apostle Paul speaks of this, especially when you're married, your interests are sort of divided. So you're trying to please your partner or your spouse, and you're also trying to do the things that please God. And so it was almost a reset for me to be able to really focus on God and allow God to just make me whole again, and to really pour into me as I spent more time with him. So I definitely recommend prayer. Those are the 4 tips that really helped me in my healing journey. First, therapy. 2, the book In Repair, A Guide to Healing from a Broken Engagement. Number 3, having excellent family and friends and community who I know were praying for me. And then number 4, praying for myself and really spending time with God. I do want to provide some advice for those who are in serious relationships. If you are engaged currently and something doesn't quite feel right to you, my first tip for those who are dating is to really listen to God. That's kind of just like, it's what it is. We have the Holy Spirit, who is our ultimate teacher. And so if you are getting these inklings, people call it their gut or whatever else, but it's really the prompting of the Holy Spirit that's telling you that something isn't right, then follow that thing. And I think that kind of goes into my next point, which is to look at and adhere to red flags. There were definitely some things, and I think if we're honest, there may be some things that we see very early on that we kind of ignore because, I love him, gonna be with him forever. It's me and my mom like to say. But yeah, like, definitely look out for red flags. And I'm not the type of person who thinks like everything is a red flag and means that you need to cut things off automatically. I think that red flags are something that you should talk about with your partner, something that you should say is a concern. And if it is something that is like a difference to your core values and there's no change made and no progress made, then it is okay for you to say, okay, like, this is something that isn't working for me. Let's go ahead and bow out gracefully. So don't ignore the red flags. Don't ignore the promptings of the Holy Spirit. Number 3, some advice that I would give is to get premarital counseling. And I think that's both spiritual wise through your pastors, and also professionally through someone who has some credentials behind their name to be able to give therapy, whether that is to give couples and family therapy. So whether that's a licensed clinical social worker, a psychiatrist, psychologist, a licensed family and marriage therapist, whoever that may be, get some professional assistance, an unbiased third party who will help you walk through like, what are some of your core values? Do y'all have anything in common? Like, are there some things that y'all aren't going to be able to work through? Because I know for me, premarital counseling really revealed a lot. And so I think that it's important for people to not go into relationships blind, especially serious ones. Marriage is supposed to last for your lifetime. And so make sure that you're having those intentional conversations. And I think that premarital counseling is a great way to do that, a great place to do that. And then finally, some advice that I would just give is just remember that engagement is not binding. Even when you're engaged, you're continuing to get to know the person and determining if that is something, if the relationship with them is going to be something that will work for the both of you. And so I just want to remind people that a little embarrassment or even a lot of embarrassment on this end from calling off an engagement or having broken up with someone that you said that you were going to be with forever is a lot better than being embarrassed on the other side of a binding covenant, which is marriage. And so, yeah, I had sent out save the dates. I had, you put up your social media posts and all of that. People still congratulate me on my engagement that was over a year ago. And so sometimes that is still like a little bit embarrassing, but I would much rather be embarrassed for calling something off than to be in a long lasting something that like didn't feel right and wasn't going to really work out in the long term. And so I just wanted to encourage you all and remind you that, a little bit of embarrassment is not worth, I guess I would take a little bit of embarrassment over my peace being disrupted for a lifetime. And so just keep that at the forefront. If you are someone who has dealt with a broken engagement, or if you feel like something is not right, then I'm definitely a resource for you. Again, get therapy, read books, get you some good family and community, and then pray, seek God's guidance, wisdom, and allow God to love on you no matter where you are in your particular relationship. Hope y'all found this helpful. Again, if you need to talk to me personally regarding this matter, then feel free to. I am an open book, and I'm in a much better place now. A year and a month later, if you would have been talking to me sometime a year ago, it might have been a different story, but I feel okay to talk about things now. And so, yeah, breaking up is hard to do. Engagement edition. I would love to know what you all think about this. Do you have any other tips for healing after the ending of a serious relationship? And do you have any advice for folks who may be either going through a broken engagement or who are engaged but may need some additional support or assistance to make sure that they are making the right decision? I hope you all have enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment, and share. Even if you didn't, you could still, do something with the algorithm by at least pushing something on it. So yeah, I hope y'all have a wonderful week, and I will see you next time for a little TLC. Bye-bye.